Hi, I'm Evie. Welcome to the beginning of my channel. You're one of the first ones, so, be cool and be the first. For those of you who are clicking on this video and don't believe in astrology, this is not going to be a video explaining the validity of astrology, but I think you're awesome because you have an open mind and most people would just be like, oh, bat it away, so you're awesome. I love that you're here. I will tell you that astrology is way more than just your sun sign. You have your moon sign, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, North Node. And all of these planets are in the different signs, right? Like your sun sign is in a sign. All of these planets are also in signs. And then they're also in houses, which are traditionally ruled by each of the signs. For example, Aries, the first sign, traditionally rules the first house. And it's how you explore the world because Aries is the ram. It goes into things, it explores, okay? And then all of these signs, all of these planets that are in the different signs, that are in the different houses, are also an aspect to each other. So it's much more, there's much more to it than just your sun sign, and it's very interesting. If you want to learn about it, I would recommend the channel Divine Venus. She is a goddess. She is amazing. But this video is about the two gifts that I think astrology can give to the world. So maybe you'll want to learn about astrology after you hear about this, or maybe you'll just think it's stupid and move on with your day. Either way, I appreciate the view. So the first gift that astrology has to offer this world and humanity is empathy on a mass level. Because as I said, you've got these planets that are working through these archetypes that are in these different houses, right? So I feel like we make this fundamental mistake as human beings that even though we have a lot of psychological knowledge on a broad level, our society understands that everybody thinks very differently than them. And even me, my degree is in psychology and I spend my life thinking about how people think differently than me, but yet when I'm in fights with my loved ones or friends, or not even in fights, but just when people react to me, I think that it happens so fast that because I don't have another lens besides my own lens of how I process information, I kind of automatically just assume that they think like me and I react in that way. But astrology gives you these 12, well, you have one, I don't know, you've got 12 lenses to look through, okay? So an example is I have a lot of people in my life with Aries moons, my mom, my brother, and my best friend. Okay, Aries is the god of war, right? So fiery, it's a fire sign. So when I tell them stuff that maybe isn't good, if I've had, a bad thing happen in my life, they will react with this kind of fire, charging way. And for me, for a long time, that really upset me, because I was like, oh, should I be upset? And I kind of took it personally, and it would confuse me about what my reaction should be to this, am I getting it wrong here, because all these people I respect. But then when I found astrology, I saw, oh, they're responding with their archetype, that's their thing, and I don't need to be that, and they don't need to be me, because if I would get offended by something, I'd kind of try to control their response, like, no, that's not how you should be responding to me right now, and that's unfair, because you should allow people their authentic expression. That's the whole point of therapy. Why do you go to therapy? Because you're trying to get to your organismic experience. Okay, the organismic experience is a term coined by Carl Rogers, an awesome humanistic psychologist, probably the one for what therapy is today. And the organismic experience is your experience when you're a child before you have any of the conditioning of what you should do or should be, or how you should react, okay? And so therapy is trying to get you out of that conditioning into your organismic experience. So if you can understand, oh, my best friend is a Gemini, or oh, my best friend is a Pisces, so they might be more emotional, rather than telling them, you don't need to be emotional. Or maybe my best friend is a Sagittarius, so instead of saying, you need to be emotional, you need to be sad about this, I can just let them be what they are without needing to control it, because I understand them through an archetype. You know, I'm not making that automatic assumption. My new automatic assumption is this new lens that I have of the archetype. And in that, you know, then we can all kind of be therapists for each other, because we aren't asking anyone to be something that they're not, you know? And I think this is really well exemplified in meme culture, because the memes, I suggest Bitch Rising is a wonderful astrology Instagram place. They make fun of the different signs and how they react to situations or events in their lives. And, you know, sometimes they react toxically and sometimes commendably, you know, but it's poking fun. And it's poking fun in this way where you're laughing with them and you're accepting someone's nature for the good and the bad. And I think that that's kind of what it's all about, you know? How are we supposed to have peace or come from love in this world when we're not accepting each other for who we are? You know? And just as we can have empathy for others, we can have empathy for ourselves. Because there are good and there are bad sides to every archetype, okay? I love the idea that there's polarity to every form of existence on this earth. You know, I think that's the thing about this physical reality. Everything is on a scale, right? Good and bad, black and white, right? And so when you understand the polarity of your sign, you can see objectively, you know, when you're embodying the good or the bad side of your nature. And I love this quote by Solzhenitsyn. It says, "The line of good and evil runs through the heart of every man." I don't know if that's the exact quote, but that is it, okay? And this always, you know, struck me as so meaningful, but I never really understood it. I knew that we have evil inside of us and we should know that, you know, and not think that we're above anyone else. But I thought, you know, it can't just be the same, you know, it can't just be, you know, there's something that goes, there's got to be a way for me to understand it more. And then I realized, oh my gosh, if you understand the natures that control you, the forces of nature that are controlling you, the archetypes that are possessing you, you can see your personal good or bad line that's running through your heart, you know? For example, I'm a Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, they are able to take the smallest thing and make the grandest truth out of it, make it so meaningful. But at the same time, they can be so self-righteous and just think that they know the truth about everything and they're the grandest and have the highest truth and are the best and smarter than everyone else. And, you know, they say that the Spanish Inquisition had the energy of the Sagittarius because they were, you know, so self-justified that they were willing to commit such evil actions, you know? And I think that is really something very powerful to know, because I've definitely looked back in my own past and seen my self-righteous behavior. And, you know, it was stuff that I had blinded myself to before. But then when I was able to understand my archetype, I thought about the negative side, and I thought in my past, oh my gosh, like that I had totally made unconscious to myself, you know? And it allows you to objectively look at yourself and not justify or excuse your own behavior. You can look at it and you can forgive yourself because you think, oh, this is just a part of my nature. I'm just a human being like everyone else. And sometimes I'm not good. You know, sometimes I am bad. Sometimes I do not embody the greatest part of myself all the time. Nobody does, you know? And so it allows you to forgive yourself. And without forgiveness, you can't really become better because you're still stuck in the past, okay? Or if you try to overwrite it and say, oh, that's bad, without understanding why it happens, you know, I don't see it changing in the future. So I think is that empathy for yourself? Now, speaking of Solzhenitsyn, this takes me to the second gift that astrology has to offer us, which is existentialism to the point of creation, to the foundation of how we think about life. And okay, why is this important? First, let's separate existentialism from nihilism, because people get that very mixed up, and it pisses me off because they are opposites. Okay, existentialism came out of like World War II time, what happened in Russia with the camps, in Germany, in China, in Cambodia, you know, all these mass deaths. And there were these wonderful philosophers and psychologists such as Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. It's a wonderful book, very short. He was a psychologist that was in the Nazi camps, who's Jewish. And Solzhenitsyn, who was in the Russian camps. He was sent to Siberia, I think, or am I mixing that up with Dostoevsky? Anyway, I don't know. I should know. But the point is that they decided that, or not they decided, they concluded, you know, why did this happen to my society? And their conclusion wasn't that it was, you know, these leaders or whatever. They were like, it came down to the individual in the society. You know, the way that we chose to act every single day, you know, when we saw the things starting to happen, not saying anything, not doing anything. And that, you know, the society makes the ways that the overarching political structure is, and that's on every single individual. And so every single individual, their action has meaning. In existentialism, it goes down to meaning in every single thing you do, whereas in nihilism, it's just like, oh, this is all random, everything you do is meaningless, F it, you know? And I fundamentally have the belief that, or I don't know, I think about reality as a place to learn. You know, like this life, I think, is about learning. I think we come to this earth to learn, and we're all learning different stuff. We're on different paths, and whether we are just one part of the the all, the life, or we are souls and we incarnate in different lives and in different forms, you know, I have no idea. But what I do think is that it seems to all be about learning. And I think that astrology fits in really well here, because you can look at an astrological chart and you can see how your parents interacted together, how you think of your mom, how you think of your dad. You know, you can see when you'll die, you can see if you're gay. Like, all of this is in the freaking birth chart. And so it invites destiny into the idea of what life is. And in that, you know, it's like, then we were destined to go through the hardships that we have, or the circumstances that we're in, you know? And I think that's empowering, you know, to take on that you are not a victim. You are here to learn. And, you know, I just think that's really empowering. And I think existentialism is empowering. And I think that even though a lot of people really love existentialism, I don't think they actually think about it to the core of, they think about it in an intellectual way rather than a spiritual way, you know? And astrology is spiritual, so, you know, you clicked on this video. Also, 2 bonus things that it's helpful for, I think, on an empathy scale. Now, this might be stupid, so feel free. Tell me in the comments if you think this is stupid. I have a lot of stupid ideas, so I have a lot of good ideas too. Whatever. Anyway, I think that it could be helpful for people that lack theory of mind, like with autism, you know, understanding what the other person is thinking, because then you just think about another person as an archetype, and it might be helpful for kind of predicting the way they're going to respond to things, or, you know. And then another thing that's kind of fun about it is, now that I've studied astrology, whenever I see celebrities, I know that they're nothing like what I'm seeing in that interview, because you've got this wheel, right? And your MC is at the top. This is your archetype for how you are in the public world. The exact opposite of that is your IC, who you are at home. So people usually act differently in the career world and their public image, not even differently, exactly opposite to that in their everyday life. So it's fun for, I don't know, I think that we have a problem with celebrity obsessions, you know? So could be helpful with that. I don't know. You can be in the video. Do you wanna come make an appearance? My dog is just staring at me. My dog looks at me very intensely with just, oh, he's coming. Oh, hello. Oh, I love you. Oh, yep. I got lipstick on. It's really a change up. Yeah, that's a microphone. My goodness, it's so exciting. He likes a butt rub. Yeah, don't lick the mic, okay?